What if I told you that the most dangerous thing you'll do today doesn't happen at the gym or behind the wheel of a car, but right at your kitchen table? For most seniors, the daily routine involves a specific beverage, something you might even consider refreshing or necessary to get through the afternoon. But there is a silent biological reaction happening inside your arteries, and for those over the age of 60, this specific drink is a literal cardiovascular landmine. I know it sounds dramatic. I know it sounds like one of those health warnings you scroll past on social media, but I'm not talking about a wellness trend or a hack. I'm talking about a brand new wave of research, some of it published just months ago, that's forcing cardiologists to completely rewrite what we thought we knew about blood pressure management in our 60s and 70s. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which drink is causing your blood pressure to spike, how it's damaging your delicate blood vessels years before a stroke occurs, and, most importantly, what the latest research suggests you can actually do to reverse the damage. So stick with me. This one matters. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where I dig into the real science behind aging, heart health, and longevity, without the hype, without the scare tactics, and without trying to sell you a miracle supplement. Today, we're tackling something that genuinely shocked me when I started reading the latest clinical trials. Hypertension, or high blood pressure, affects nearly 1.3 billion people worldwide. In the United States alone, nearly half of all adults have high blood pressure, and for those over 60, that number climbs to over 75%. And despite billions of dollars poured into pharmaceuticals, the standard medications often come with side effects that ruin your quality of life. But here's what's changing. Over the last few years, and especially in the last 12 months, scientists have identified a specific dietary trigger that is undoing all the hard work you're putting in at the gym or with your medications. It isn't just about salt anymore. It's about a specific liquid that is genuinely making some of the smartest cardiologists in the world rethink everything. Let me walk you through it. Okay, so first I need to explain something that, honestly, still blows my mind every time I think about it. Your blood vessels are not just static pipes. I need to explain something that still blows my mind every time I read the pathology reports. Your arteries aren't just static pipes, they are living, reactive organs. Inside your blood vessels, you have a microscopic lining called the endothelium. Think of it as the Teflon coating on your pans. When it's healthy, blood slides right through. But when you drink this specific beverage, that Teflon becomes sticky. Scientists call this endothelial dysfunction, and it is the quietest, most underestimated risk factor for a cardiovascular event that we've ever identified. A silent shift in your biology that forces researchers to rethink everything we know about aging. Here's how it works. Your endothelium produces a gas called nitric oxide. This gas is the magic wand of your cardiovascular system. It tells your blood vessels to relax and widen, allowing blood to flow easily. When your endothelium is working perfectly, your blood pressure stays in the healthy zone. But when you consume the drink we're talking about today, you are essentially launching a chemical attack on that nitric oxide production. Within minutes, your vessels begin to stiffen. They become narrow, and your heart has to pump twice as hard to push blood through those constricted channels. Now here's the part that really got my attention. Researchers recently ran a study that basically nailed this down. They took seniors with no history of heart disease and gave them a drink high in this specific ingredient. Within 2 hours, their flow-mediated dilation, which is the ability of arteries to relax and open up, dropped by nearly 30%. This clinical evidence proves that what we consume acts as a biological switch for our longevity. Their blood wasn't just flowing poorly, it was essentially hitting a wall. The cardiovascular symptoms were visible in the blood work years before a heart attack would ever show up on an EKG. That's a staggering finding. It suggests your diet isn't just a passive fuel source, it is actually driving the aging of your heart. It suggests the fluid you choose isn't just passing through you. It is actively reshaping your internal plumbing. So let's get to the question you clicked on this video for. What is this drink? Which one is causing this much damage to people over 60? This is where a major new review comes in. In January of this year, 2026, researchers published a comprehensive analysis on the effects of diet or sugar-free sodas and sports drinks on the senior heart. Now, you might be thinking, wait, I thought diet soda was the healthy choice. No calories, no sugar, right? That is exactly what the industry wants you to believe. But the science is telling a much darker story. The main culprits are artificial sweeteners, specifically aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin, combined with high levels of phosphoric acid and sodium. When you consume these sugar-free drinks, your brain receives a signal that sweetness is coming, but no calories arrive. This creates a metabolic confusion that triggers systemic inflammation. But it's the phosphoric acid that really does the damage to seniors. Phosphoric acid can deplete your body of calcium and magnesium, two minerals that are absolutely essential for keeping your blood vessel walls flexible. Pseudomonas and other gut bacteria, which we discussed in previous videos regarding brain health, are also affected here. These artificial sweeteners don't just stay in your stomach, they travel to your gut microbiome and cause dysbiosis. When your gut bacteria are out of balance because of these chemicals, they produce pro-inflammatory compounds that leak into your bloodstream. From there, they travel up to your brain and down to your heart. They trigger neuroinflammation and arterial stiffness simultaneously. Now, let's look at the hard data, because numbers don't lie. According to the American Heart Association and the CDC, the impact of high blood pressure isn't felt equally across all groups. For example, Black Americans have some of the highest rates of hypertension in the world. Statistics show that 58% of Black men and women over the age of 20 have high blood pressure, compared to about 47% of non-Hispanic white adults. For a Black senior over 60, the risk of a stroke is significantly higher, and the consumption of diet beverages has been shown in some studies to correlate with an even sharper rise in resistant hypertension, blood pressure that won't go down even with 3 or more medications. Furthermore, recent data indicates that the diet soda trap hit these communities harder because of targeted marketing campaigns that historically promoted these drinks as a modern and safe alternative to traditional beverages. When a Black or Hispanic senior consumes these beverages, they are often unaware that their genetic and environmental predispositions to salt sensitivity make the hidden sodium in these sugar-free cans a triple threat. It isn't just about the absence of sugar, it is about the presence of compounds that specifically interfere with the ethnic variations in kidney function and vascular tone. In the Hispanic community, we see that nearly 43% of adults have hypertension, and many are undiagnosed. For these groups, the diet soda trap is particularly dangerous because there is often a cultural shift toward these Americanized drinks as a way to avoid the calories of traditional fruit juices. But the trade-off is a chemical cocktail that your arteries simply weren't designed to handle. Among Asian Americans, particularly South Asian groups, the risk of heart disease occurs at a lower body mass index, meaning that even lean seniors can have dangerously high internal arterial pressure triggered by these chemical additives. Why is this such a big deal for seniors specifically? Because the aging body is particularly vulnerable to exactly the kind of chemical stress we're talking about. As we get older, our kidneys naturally become less efficient at filtering out excess phosphorus and sodium. Our vascular reserve, the ability of our blood vessels to bounce back from stress, naturally decreases. At the same time, many seniors are taking multiple medications for things like arthritis or cholesterol, and these medications can interact with the chemicals in diet drinks to further strain the heart. This metabolic bottleneck is exacerbated by the fact that after 60, our bodies produce significantly less natural glutathione, our master antioxidant. Without this internal shield, the oxidative stress caused by artificial sweeteners is like throwing gasoline on a small fire. Your arteries are already working harder to maintain flow. Introducing these synthetic molecules is the equivalent of throwing sand into the gears of a vintage watch. The cumulative effect over years of 1 can a day creates a state of chronic vascular crisis that many doctors simply mistake for normal aging. On top of that, the aging intestinal wall becomes more permeable on its own. It's called leaky gut of aging, and it means that the artificial sweeteners and acidic compounds in these drinks have an easier time getting into your circulation. From there, they reach the blood-brain barrier, which is also more permeable in our 60s and 70s. So you have more toxins leaking out of the gut, and more of that stuff making it into the brain and the heart. It's a compounding problem. This is why the link between diet, drink consumption, and brain fog, or dizziness, appears so strongly in seniors. Okay, so we know the drink is the problem, but how exactly do these chemicals reach up from your stomach and cause your blood pressure to skyrocket? There are actually several pathways. The first is through the renin-angiotensin system. This is your body's hormone system that regulates blood pressure. Artificial sweeteners have been shown to overstimulate this system, causing your body to hold on to more water and your vessels to constrict. The second pathway is through insulin resistance. Even though diet soda has no sugar, the artificial sweetness triggers an insulin response. High insulin levels in the blood cause the kidneys to retain sodium. And as we all know, where sodium goes, water follows. This increases your total blood volume, which puts massive pressure on your heart. Imagine trying to pump a gallon of thick molasses through a tiny straw. That is what your heart is dealing with. The third pathway is through the vagus nerve. Just like we talked about with gut health, the chemicals in these drinks send distorted signals up the vagal highway to the brain's vasomotor center, the part of your brain that controls heart rate and vessel diameter. When this center gets glitched signals, it defaults to a state of high tension. All right, this is the part of the video that I think matters most, because after learning all this, the natural question is, okay, what can I actually do about it? I want to be really clear about something. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that stopping diet soda will cure your hypertension overnight. The science isn't there yet. What I can tell you is what the research actually shows about lifestyle factors that support a healthier cardiovascular system, and by extension, a lower blood pressure. Always talk to your own doctor before making significant changes, especially if you're on medications. First, the grand swap. If you're craving that carbonation, the best thing you can do is switch to plain sparkling water with a squeeze of real lemon or lime. The citrus provides vitamin C and bioflavonoids that actually support endothelial health, while the carbonation satisfies that fizz craving without the phosphoric acid. Second, hibiscus tea. This is one of the hidden gems of the cardiology world. Multiple clinical trials have shown that drinking 2 to 3 cups of hibiscus tea per day can be as effective as some low-dose blood pressure medications. It's a natural diuretic and contains powerful antioxidants that help the blood vessels relax. It's caffeine-free and delicious hot or cold. Third, magnesium-rich foods. Since the chemicals in sodas deplete your magnesium, you need to put it back. Spinach, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and even dark chocolate, at least 70% cacao, are your best friends. Magnesium is the natural chill pill for your arteries. Fourth, beetroot juice. This is the ultimate nitric oxide booster. Beets are high in natural nitrates, which your body converts directly into that magic wand gas that opens up your vessels. One small glass of beet juice can significantly lower systolic blood pressure within hours. Fifth, potassium is king. Potassium is the biological opposite of sodium. It helps your body flush out excess salt and relaxes the tension in your vessel walls. Bananas are great, but avocados, sweet potatoes, and white beans actually have even more potassium. For seniors, getting enough potassium is the #1 dietary defense against stroke. Sixth, move your body in a rhythmic way. You don't need to run a marathon. Daily walking, swimming, or even gardening has been shown to improve arterial elasticity. Consistency matters more than intensity. When you move, your blood shears against the walls of your vessels, which actually triggers the production of more protective nitric oxide. And finally, and this one surprises people, manage your breath. Slow, deep breathing for just 5 minutes a day can reset your nervous system and lower your blood pressure. It's like a manual override for that vasomotor center in your brain. I want to zoom out for a second because I think this research represents something really important, not just about blood pressure, but about how we think about the body. For most of medical history, we've treated the heart as an isolated pump and the blood vessels as just copper wiring. But what the new science is showing us is that the cardiovascular system is actually a highly intelligent, communicative network that is constantly responding to the chemical environment we provide. This holistic view is revolutionary. It suggests that our blood pressure is not a fixed number written in our DNA, but a dynamic reflection of our daily habits. When you choose a cup of hibiscus tea over a diet soda, you aren't just drinking a beverage. You are participating in a sophisticated biochemical negotiation with your own cells. You are providing the building blocks for repair instead of the catalyst for destruction. This paradigm shift allows us to view aging not as a steady decline, but as a period where our choices carry more weight and more potential for healing than ever before. That changes the game. It means preventing a stroke or a heart attack might look very different in the future than it does today. Instead of just waiting for the silent killer to strike and then taking a pill for the rest of your life, we can look at the signals we are sending our body in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. We can identify the warning patterns and intervene long before the pressure causes a rupture. Look, I know this is a lot of information, and I don't want anyone walking away from this video feeling scared. That's not the point. The point is that for the first time in a long time, we're seeing a path forward in heart health that isn't just about managing symptoms after the fact. We're seeing a path that involves real, modifiable, everyday lifestyle factors. It gives ordinary people, not just pharmaceutical companies, some agency in this fight. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Imagine your cardiovascular system as a high-performance vehicle. You wouldn't put low-grade, contaminated fuel in a Ferrari, would you? Your heart has been beating for over 60 years. It has pumped millions of gallons of blood. It has kept you going through every stress and every joy. It deserves high-quality fuel. It deserves water, minerals, and natural nutrients, not lab-created chemicals that trick your brain and stiffen your pipes. Think about the legacy of your health. By making these changes now, you are ensuring that your later years are defined by vitality rather than by the limitations of a preventable condition. You are setting an example for your children and grandchildren, showing them that it is never too late to take command of your own biology. This isn't just about avoiding a hospital bed. It is about reclaiming your right to a vibrant, energetic life where you can fully enjoy the fruits of your decades of hard work. Your heart is a resilient masterpiece. Give it what it needs, and it will surprise you with how well it can still perform. If this video helped you or taught you something new, I'd genuinely appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. It helps more than you'd think. And subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I've got more videos coming on circulation, energy, and the new science of aging well, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Drop a comment down below. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed your blood pressure change when you stop drinking certain things? Have you tried hibiscus tea or beet juice? What worked for you and what didn't? I read the comments, and a lot of these video ideas come directly from what you share. Your story might be the exact thing someone else needs to hear to make a change today. Take care of your vessels, take care of your heart, and I'll see you next time. Take a deep breath, have a glass of water, and remember, you have the power to change your biology at any age. I'll see you soon.